All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from today. My name's Sean Massey. I'm the vice chairman of the World of EUC. And today we have a really exciting uh, guest and sponsor joining us to talk about what's new in Nerdio and AVD. And so, with that, I would like to introduce Dave Fiske. I hope I got that right. Who is
Fisk.
the lead EUC strategist over at Nerdio, who's going to talk about, AVD and Windows 365 made easy with Nerdio. So, Dave, welcome to the webinar. Thank you for joining us today, and
Yes.
the floor is all yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean. So, I gotta hit the share button. There we go. Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen and if it's full screen.
Yep, I can see you. And just real quick before you get started, I forgot to mention two things. If you are just joining us, please feel free to drop questions either in the chat or the Q&A panel. We'll be monitoring that, and as breaks come up, we'll be sharing those questions with Dave. And again, thank you everyone for joining today.
Awesome. Yes, thanks. So, as Sean said, my name is Dave Fisk. I'm the lead EUC strategist at Nerdio. And essentially, what that means is I get to go out and work with the community, talk with our partners, talk with our customers, talk with our technology partners, go to trade shows, meet with people, and then have conversations. I've been in the EUC space since before it was called EUC, 26 years, doing pretty much only this type of technology. So I've been here a long time. I've made the transition from legacy, let's say Citrix, long time there, over to Nerdio, and you will. It's eye-opening how easy Nerdio can make Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365. So I'm going to go through a deck here. I have a lot of demos. Like Sean said, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I can't see the chat. Actually, I thought I'd be able to, but it went away. Maybe if I hide this. No, yeah, it's Zoom. Anyway, so Sean, just keep me informed of anything there. If you have any questions that you want to hear live right away, put it in the chat. And Sean, I've given him permission to interrupt me, and I can go off of on a small tangent a little bit for what I want to do from demo from a demo perspective. So, oh, right back here. So LinkedIn, I'm very active on LinkedIn. So if you want to connect with me, I'm going to have this QR code later on as well, if you haven't already connected with me. So I do a lot of stuff out in the LinkedIn space and in the online world. So we're going to talk about streamlining image lifecycle management. So that's something that is kind of new for people from a automated perspective. I came from the camp of you got to build a golden image and you update that golden image every couple of weeks for Patch Tuesday or whatever it might be. And Nerdio can actually help automate all of that for you, so you have a fresh image every single month if you want. You don't have to. So we give you those choices. And then we're going to talk about host pool and auto scaling. So if you're not familiar with that, we're going to run through there some scripted actions. Scripted actions are really cool. That's what helps automate a lot of tasks that you have out there. We've got a whole library of scripted actions. We're going to do a demo of Console Connect, which is a way to do what's called shadowing of user sessions, as well as the ability to connect in and do tasks without actually connecting to that machine. And then, like I said, I was at Citrix for a while. I know Sean was at Omnissa for a while. I know a lot of you are either Citrix or Omnissa customers currently, maybe. If you're already a Nerdio customer, thank you. Welcome. I hope you can learn something from me. And my goal is also to learn something from other people. So if you want me to, or if you want to tell me some of your experiences in the chat, that'd be great. And then we're going to talk about some key business drivers. So you're going to get a little sneak peek. My boss is actually doing a webinar that goes live in 55 minutes, and I'm going to be showing her slides before she is. So you guys are in for a treat there. And that's all about Ignite. So Microsoft Ignite is next week, if you're not aware of that. Our goal is very similar to Microsoft's. So their purpose is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And Nerdio's goal is to help you achieve more with your Microsoft investment. So that's our true goal that we have here is to make your Microsoft investments much easier. And you'll actually see that in one of the demos I'm going to give you, how you can see that actual value to be able to report your efficiencies back to your leadership. Let's see. All right. So Nerdio, as Sean mentioned, we are a founding partner of World EUC. We're a proud partner with that as well. And we are continuing into next year being a proud founding partner. We just signed the contract again to re-up for next year. Along with that, we do a lot of other things in the industry, but we also have been a 4-year finalist or winner in a row with Microsoft as Partner of the Year. So that's something we're very proud of. We work with them very closely to make sure that our roadmaps are aligned. So when they release something, we have day one or day zero on capabilities with that technology. If you're going to Ignite next week, I don't know if you are. I will not be there. I was heartbroken that I can't be there. But one of my colleagues will be there from my team. We have a booth directly across from Microsoft's, and there's some really cool merch that we're giving out there. So let me get into some streamlining of lifecycle management. So some of the traditional pain points I mentioned a little bit ago were, manual updates, version tracking, configuration drift, right? Every time you do an update of an image, you have to do that same update to all the other images that you might have in your environment, right? Or otherwise, you're going to have some configuration drift of some sort, whether it's policies and any file that you've stuck on a machine that controls the config for something, whatever that might be. Traditional pain points. Nerdio's solution, we automate all of this for you, including the sysprep, the image creation, your versioning controls, and then we publish it automatically to the Azure Compute Gallery. So if you're doing AVD alone, these are all manual steps you have to do with Nerdio, built right into our solution. And then we can also do automated updates. So I forgot to check before this happened, but yesterday was Patch Tuesday, and I have a script that automatically patches my VMs. I'm brave enough to do it on Wednesday morning at midnight after Patch Tuesday. So we're actually going to go in and check to see if that actually did run. And then we have the ability to back up and roll back images. So we always have that fear of what happens if something breaks, right? And then you have that backup of an image that you hopefully took or a snapshot that you can revert back to. Nerdio manages all of that for you. So you don't have to do any of that. And in fact, there's a real world success that we have tracked, and I'll show you how we do that, that we can reduce 50% of your administrative hours and overhead. So with that, you're able to focus. It's not about replacing jobs or replacing you. It's about allowing you to do stuff that's more focused for what's important to your business. The business doesn't care about, image management, right? They care about business applications being able to sell your product or solution, your services to your customers or your healthcare or whatever it is that you might have to do. That's what the business cares about, and you can be more productive with all of that. So I'm going to break out here and go into my demo. So if you're unfamiliar with what Nerdio looks like, this is our Nerdio Manager for Enterprise Council. We do have a Nerdio Manager for MSPs as well. So if you're a managed services provider, we do have a solution for that. It's very similar, not quite identical, but a lot of the concepts here are the same. So like I had mentioned, I have the ability to manage desktop images. And let's go ahead and see if my scheduled task ran. So right here, I created this image on September 8th. And right here, it says that my task ran. Good, because yesterday it said it was going to run at midnight, and now my next task will run after Patch Tuesday. So this image is now fully updated with Windows updates. And how I did that was I had a scripted action that's called update Windows 11 that I was able to go in, update the image, it repackages it, preps it, remakes it ready for deployment out to the VMs. Where now the next time the VMs reboot, they'll get the new image assigned for me. And how simple it is I can go in to create an image and you can go ahead and create that. I can go ahead and I can pick from my own images that I've created. So that AVD demo, that's one that I created. Or I can say, hey, I want to do 25H2, multi-session AVD. and I can go ahead and I can pick my compute, my storage type, so I can pick all of these different solutions, join it to AD. I'm not going to join mine to AD. Because in a base image, you typically don't join AD because then you inherit a bunch of garbage from group policies and all that other stuff. I can go ahead and I can clean up everything. I can optimize the disk type. So one thing with Azure is if you have a VM out in Azure, you are paying for that VM to run, whether it's turned on or turned off, unless you have it deprovisioned or deallocated. So we can do the deallocation. We can also optimize the disk type. So you're paying for the disk storage. So we can actually delete the storage completely, or we can optimize it and put it down to a lower cost disk tier. So if you noticed up here, I had said, hey, I want to have standard SSD. Typically for multi-user, I would choose premium SSD in order to do that. In order to get actually, I do have premium already. So you can do standard SSD or premium SSD for that. And then this will actually drop it down to hard drive HDD. So then I can go ahead and just click on OK, and it will start to build my image for me automatically. So I don't have to do any of the Windows clicks, updates, things that are going on. You can see here there's a task that's scheduled in a few seconds. There will be a spinny wheel here, add desktop image in progress. I can go ahead and I can click on this, and then it's going to show me all of the stuff that it's doing in the background. So Nerdio doesn't actually do anything directly to a VM itself. It talks to Azure, talks to the backplane, and then it does all the commands for the execution of that through Azure itself. So here you can see it created the network interface, it grabbed the image, it's creating the VM. This will take about 25 minutes to go, so I will just let it run while I get back to the presentation here and into the next part. Any questions on that, Sean? Come in.
No, we haven't had any questions come in. I don't see anything in chat or in the Q&A panel, so you're good to go.
All right, very good. So the next thing is host pool and auto scaling. So I had mentioned, that was just image creation. So you don't have to build images if you don't want to. You can actually use the stuff straight from the compute gallery, deploy those out to VMs. In some cases that's recommended, and in some it's not. We can have a conversation about that, offline if you want. I won't get into all of that, but host pools essentially it's a collection of identical machines that you publish applications or publish your desktops to for your users to have access to. Now, like I mentioned, you pay for resources that are being utilized inside of Azure. So what we do is we tell you, okay, you should have a minimum of 3 machines that are always available during the day, and then at certain times I want to auto scale that up so that I can have more machines in a pre-stage, so that I have more VMs that are ready for people in the morning. Or whenever their shift workers starts, we can do that. We can do rolling drain mode to reduce the workload for those users as well. We can make recommendations on unreserved instances. So RIs are very similar or very simple. You pay for it for a year, whether it's turned on or turned off. We do recommend that. We actually have a tool that will help you do that. And then, so my next thing here will be showing you how to actually create a base capacity, burst capacity, scaling logic, and all that other stuff. So I believe my next thing is a demo. Oh, actually, this is a great stat. And this is, I think our average is 60 or 65% reduction in compute costs with Nerdio alone. So if you do AVD without Nerdio, you're paying more than if you were to buy Nerdio and do AVD. We'll actually reduce your cost by 60%. Natively. So that's including the cost of Nerdio itself. But we do have customers that have achieved up to 85% cost savings on that. So I will get back into my demo here, and I'm going to go into my a host pool that I already have created. It's called AVD demo, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select a host pool. So in here you can see I have 2 machines. One of them is turned on, one of them is turned off. And it's actually turned on because of one of my policies that I have going on for autoscale. I'm going to go into autoscale configuration, and I can go in here. And so this is where I can see all of the autoscale activity that has occurred on my host pool. So whether machines turn on, they turn off, all these other things. It also gives me some metrics. So if I were to have these two machines up and running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 31 days a month, it would cost me $550. Because of how I have my lab set up, I want to have some good resources going on. It's actually going to cost me only $38 for what I do. Now, obviously, I mean that's like a huge savings in a real world scenario. You're not going to see that quite, but it might be $300, right, instead of 500 or something like that. So we can go ahead. I'm just going to show here. So you can name your machines. You pick your templates. So here's that AVD template. So this is the one that we know was updated last night. Or I could go ahead and pick a different gallery thing. I select my types of machines, my hard drives that I'm going to be running, the stop disk, so make it cheaper. And then I can put it in different resource groups. I can automatically re-image a host. So after a machine has all the users gone off of it. So if you're familiar to like PVS or MCS, when a machine reboots, it's fresh and clean. We can actually, if you hit enable on that or always, it will do that every time the last person logs off. It will reboot and reimage that machine. We've learned that it's not always necessary to do, so we give you that choice to reboot it and wipe it and start over or not, based off your image. I can go ahead and pick how many users I want to have on a machine, how I set my load balancing, whether I want to scale a machine up or if I want to scale it out, and spread users across multiple machines. I'm going to have a base of 2. You saw I had 2 there, right? I'm going to make this change. I'm going to make it 3. And then when I hit OK, you'll see what happens here. So I also have the ability to do auto scale triggers on lots of different things. So this is similar to your load balancing that you would do in legacy technologies, where I want to have, oh, I've got too many people on this. We need to start spreading them out to these other users or whatever, or build up machines. Then we can have scale in. So I can, this is my, if when I hit a certain time of day, I can say, hey, at 5 o'clock at night, I want to start scaling in, and I want to set it to low, which means here, if you actually click this little button here, it'll tell you, okay, this is going to look for hosts without sessions, and then it'll disconnect. It will leave the sessions there. You can reconnect to a disconnected session, but no new users can come on, and then so on and so forth, depending on medium and high, where actually we can kick people out, send them a message going on with all of that, sending all these different things. And then the pre-stage is the ability for me to turn it on at a certain time and how many machines I want to have turned on, so that that machine doesn't boot up and then users start hitting them immediately. We'll have it turned on, ready to go, so that machines are done. And this is why I said my auto scale settings were set why that machine was on, because it's noon my time and the machine turned on at noon. So I also turn it on at 3 and whatever. So I can also auto heal broken sessions. So if you remember the black hole of death and from the Citrix world, where users try to connect and they just go nowhere, we can actually detect that automatically and repair that. And how we do that is we'll reboot the machine if the Windows agent our AVD agent still shows unavailable, or we'll start it and then we'll rebuild the machine automatically with you having to do nothing for all of that. So with that, I'm going to hit save. And then you'll see as soon as it says done, I'm going to click the back button. There we go. And now you'll see I have a task scheduled right here, and it's called Force Auto Scale Process. It's now running, and if I click into the details, you'll see what it's trying to do. It's going out and it's going to start creating, and it's going to actually create a VM here in a few seconds in order for us to do that. So I'm going to go back to the presentation. I'll come back to the screen. Oh, there it is, add host. So it's starting to build that machine for me automatically without me having to do anything in that auto scale, and it will turn it off and deallocate it. So I'm not actually paying for anything other than the little bit of disk usage in standard hard drive. I'm not paying for the CPU resources until I hit a certain scale point. All right. And now scripted action. So I mentioned that we have a scripted action that we're running for lots of different things, but the one that I mentioned in particular was for Patch Tuesday. We have the ability to do that with PowerShell. You can do it with CMD files. You can do it with Azure Runbooks. There's a lot of different things that you can do from scripting. You can have, if you have your own Winget or GitHub or ADO, You can connect into those. If they're private, we can connect into that. If it's public, obviously we can connect into those. And I'm going to show you that as well. And then the optimized cost part. So the auto scaling, we can do a lot of things with scripted actions with those, cleaning up machines or doing different actions when certain things occur. So let's break out here and go back into here, and you can see, hey, here's my host, my name. It's already in progress as I scroll through building out that machine. So scripted actions allows me to go in here and do a lot of different things. So you can see I have different scripted actions that I can do for different use cases. I have in my scripted action pool, I have 129 scripted actions that I have available to me. If I were to just search by Nerdio, then I would have 57, I believe, NMW. So I have, let's see, 50, it hasn't filtered yet. Refresh. It's 51. So I have 51 built-in automatic scripts that Nerdio has written. It goes out to our GitHub. It's very easy to add your own. You go into settings, you go into environment, you go into integrations, script repositories, linker repository. You pick your type, and then you can add your own scripts in here. You build your own. All of the capabilities are built right in there. And then you can assign those as scheduled tasks or as machines reboot. So there's all these different things that you can assign to VMs. So I'm actually going to go into here. I know I'm clicking around. I just wanted to showcase a lot of different things. So if I go into settings, I can add my different policies that I have. I can do my scripted actions. So this is where it's very powerful. If you have, I have a use case where somebody builds a machine and then it needs to connect to Active Directory, and then it needs to get its Intune information from Active Directory from a policy. We can actually force input that through a scripted action, so you don't have to wait for all that to happen on machine build and so forth. So next one. So Console Connect. Console Connect it's a newer feature. We announced it at NerdioCon, and I'm going to talk about NerdioCon in a little bit later, but it allows you to connect out to VMs using either a toolbox or an interactive session. So the benefits here is it's included with our software. Now we realize a lot of other people have products like TeamViewer, or if you're already using AVD, you might be paying for window or the capability to do through Intune to be able to connect out there, where we can do it all through the admin, through our console, through our studio solution, with all of this. So I'm going to skip over the rest of the words here and get into the actual demo. So this one I had to record because if you have two screens, I have to switch back and forth between the screens. You can't do it all on one screen because you can't share a screen of a screen that you're shadowing. So I recorded this one. So what I'm doing here is I'm on the client machine, so I'm a user session, and then I'm going to flip over to the admin session. So with the admin session, I go find Dave, and then I go and I click on that button over there, and then I just hit, hey, I want to shadow this. I can do a toolbox or interactives, and then I connect into either the console of that or into Dave's session itself. So now Dave's approved for me to come in, and for this, I'm like, hey, can you help me open Notepad? I forgot how to do that. So, something very simple. So from the admin side, I can say, sure thing. So I can go ahead and I can open up, this is the toolbox, and I can go into command prompt, run it as the user, and then open up Notepad, so that Notepad is now open on that user session. So that's something that I can do without me having to actually click around and do stuff. You can do remote work. You can also look at other performance, things like your session performance. So as the admin, I can go ahead back into my toolbox and go into network statistics, and I can say, all right, I've got 29 milliseconds of latency. Everything looks great. And then, so that's a way for you to track that. And then at the end of the session, when the user can close it, or the admin can close it, obviously. So when the admin closes it, they can now download session notes. You can make session notes that go into a repository. You can download the chat transaction as well, so you can put that into a help desk ticket, or however it is that you want to do any reports on that. All right. So this is a big thing right now. A lot of customers, or a lot of companies out there are looking at alternatives to Citrix. And it's not because Citrix Technologies is terrible. It's because of some of the business practices that Citrix is using. I know Omnis is doing some of the same things. And that's kind of the way of how the world is working today. Is like, oh, we've got this mega empire. Let's take advantage of our customers by exploiting them with new renewals, or not allowing new customers to actually buy products from them because they're not big enough. So we actually have a migration strategy that helps you move from legacy technology. So I'm going to call that a legacy VDI platform, or legacy application virtualization platform, to help you move to Nerdio and AVD. Now, when I came to Nerdio 14 months ago, I had never used AVD. I had never used Windows 365. I had never administered anything inside of um, Azure. I had done a lot of Citrix stuff, and I always had some specialist that was helping me with setting up my Azure infrastructure. So I never had to do anything with that. Nerdio makes it so easy. I went to one training class for one day, and I was able to do everything that I can do today, essentially with one day of training, versus and it's free. So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit as well. But we have the ability for you to learn from our training. So they're actually Nerdio employees. We have some partners out there that are also they're partnering with us to do local events in some of the smaller markets out there. In fact, I think there's a training class in London today, or at least this week, that's going on. So we can help you understand your knowledge mapping, the image migration. So whether or not you build fresh, or you can actually pull that old image from your old environment and pull it into AVD, import that, and go with all that. We can help you with your app deployment knowledge, how to do things, so we can integrate with Intune, with SCCM, with Winget, with a bunch of different application repositories out there. So you manage them all through Nerdio Manager. Profile migration. So if you currently are using FS Logic, that's what we use natively. If you use Liquidware, we integrate with Liquidware as well. And then we integrate directly and can manage your Azure file storage. So is there a question, Sean? I saw a pop-up.
Yes, there is. Can existing AVD images be brought into Nerdio and managed?
Yes. 100%. So anything that you have as an image file, you can import. So if it's a local, you can do an import into Azure, and then we can import that into Nerdio Manager and put it into your compute gallery, your private compute gallery. If it's something that you already have up and running as a VM inside of Azure today, we can also import that, create that into an image, and then deploy that out. If you're already running AVD, we can actually ingest your already existing host pools into Nerdio, and we can do it in two different ways. So one of them, we can just do it so we ingest it, so we can tell you how much more money you would save with Nerdio, and that's typically how like some of the POCs work. Or you can fully manage it directly from Nerdio, and because we're out of band, and what that means is we don't talk directly to the machines, we talk to Azure. So if for some reason you stop using Nerdio, your AVD still works. You just don't get the advanced capabilities of Nerdio itself. So I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, please put that more in the chat. And then let's get on with this. So I mentioned we're got about half hour left. Good. There's more. So if you remember Mark Templeton, there was always one more thing. And if you don't know Mark, he was the CEO of Citrix when they were great. And so I always try to take some of his bluebirds and put them into a presentation. And I'm actually going to talk about more than one more thing. So, as I mentioned, Nerdio is going to be at Ignite next week. And what we are doing with a lot of different things, these are some of the new announcements that we're going to have. I'm going to demo a few of them here. So we are actually providing you a way to migrate that Citrix image, that Omnissa image, or there's other people out there, other companies out there that do it as well. It will help you import that image, remove all of their management tools, all of their back end services, and clean that up to help you to get out there. We have some additional capabilities with proactive and real-time agentless insights. So we don't have an agent because we're, like I said, we're out of band. So the only agent that we do has it if you install Console Connect, the one thing that I just demoed, we have a Console Connect agent for doing some of that. And then I'm going to showcase how you can quantify your administrative time savings, as well as your end users' total costs. So with that, let's get into this next thing. So Microsoft, if you haven't heard, released something called Windows 365 a few years ago. It's similar to AVD, but different than AVD. So AVD is more typically managed by your legacy EUC owners. So your people that used to do Citrix or RDSH or Omnissa is typically what translates to AVD. And your typical help desktop support people are typically looking at Windows 365. Well, there's different reasons for having both. And it's we could talk for an hour on why you should only use AVD, and we can talk for an hour on why you should only use Windows 365, and we can talk for an hour on why they work better together. And we allow you to migrate your AVD use cases to Windows 365. Microsoft came to us earlier this year and said we don't want to build this tool, but we know customers want to be able to move from this to that and not have it be a painful experience. So we built this up. We launched the public preview in October. I'm actually going to show you a live demo of that here in just a second. And then we also have a new checkbox coming that will allow us to do that cleanup of old tools. So let me go into my demo again. And I'm going to go into my workspaces. So the migration tool only works if you have a single session personal host pool desktop, which is typically like developers and power users, right? That need to have the resources of a PC for themselves without being on that shared resource, and have it be probably always on, or the ability for me to hibernate it and come back and all my work is back where I am, just like I'm on a laptop. So, and you can't do that with shared. So I'm going to go into my migration demo. It's just another VM running 22H2 AVD version, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on these three dots and click Migrate to Windows 365. So what it's going to do is it's going to find the user that's actually assigned to here, and it's going to plug in that name. And then I'm going to pick the license group. So if you have a license group assigned, of course, it's going to fail on me. Come on. All right, let's try this again. Wow, that's not working. Anyway, let's see if it eventually pops up. So I have the ability to assign users to the hosts. I can create new provisioning policies where I can go ahead and I can pick the name, the region, the default cloud PC image. That's if the user resets their machine. Otherwise, it'll take the existing image and just migrate that over. You can use Entra if you want. Let's see if that's populated yet. It has. Okay. There we go. All right. So next, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to hit select an existing one. So I've created a base policy. I can go into user settings, so I can create a new policy for my user settings where you can allow users to restore their PC, I'm just going to go ahead. Oh, that's right. I deleted that one. So test, and I'm going to go click, click, and next. And then I can schedule this. So I can do it right now, or I can say I'm going to do this in a little bit, right? So migration time, set your date time. I don't know why you'd ever want to repeat it, but we give you that ability. And then you can actually send a message to that VM itself saying we're doing some maintenance, terminating your session in 10 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever from the time that this is done, and they are independent of each other. And then I can go ahead and actually clean up that machine. So after I migrate from AVD to Windows 365, what it does is it takes a snapshot and then it migrates all of the stuff to Windows 365. That snapshot still exists, so you're still paying for it until you delete that. So you can go ahead and delete it manually, or you can just schedule it at a certain time to be deleted, certain time and date, and it will actually clean up that machine for you automatically. You can also have it send an email if you have email set up inside of here with whatever you want to have it say, and then you just hit submit. So now that I've hit submit on that, you'll hear in a few seconds, you'll see a little spinny wheel up here. You can see I already have a task that's been created. So I'm actually just going to click into there. Here's my migrate session host. Pending in a few seconds, that's going to go from pending to running or in progress. And then you'll see it start running up here. So any questions on the migration stuff for AVD and Windows 365?
So I don't have any questions right now on the migration stuff or AVD Windows 365. There is one question in there about partner training, but we could save that till the end when you have your Q&A slide.
I will do that. I will cover that. That's a good point. So, all right. Okay. So, like I mentioned, we are agentless and real-time insights. We have the ability for us to report on anything that Intune has the capabilities of reporting in, anything that AVD or Windows 365. So all of those capabilities, agentless for us to be able to do that. All inside of our management interface. If you've ever done Intune reporting, it is very terrible. Give me 1 second. It's not very easy to follow. There's a lot of clicks for you to get to examples, or I'm sorry, for you to get to the root cause of what's causing something. I had a demo done at a show that I was at 2 weeks ago, and with Microsoft it was 12 or 14 clicks to get to the result, and with us it was 3. So that's kind of some of the examples that we're going to showcase. I'll show you some of those capabilities here in a second. Operational efficiency. This is something that's brand new that we are releasing next week as well. So we're announcing it in a half an hour. So you guys got the new scoop on what we're announcing. So operational efficiencies, I will go through actually what that means for you. And then we have an executive dashboard. So our CEO actually came up with this idea. Our CEO is very techie, and he's like, our reporting is great, but for me as a leader, I need to know, what my ROI is. What trends are we trending, saving money? Are we spending more money? Or are users, what are our users doing? How are our machines performing? And then allow me to do forecasting and projections. So these are all things that executives care about, and we have the ability to do all of that. So I'll actually tie in some of that here in just a second. And then scripted sequences. So scripted sequences, it's like scripted actions like I had earlier, only it allows you to put multiple scripted scripts together and then have if-then statements. So making sure that when subtask A runs, it finishes before subtask B runs. You don't just put a timer into it. So we have the ability to do all of that. That's something else that's coming out next week as well with our 7.5 release. So I'm going to do another demo before I get to the very end. So I'll come back to this. Looks like I've got about 20 minutes. So okay. All right. So when I go into here, this is our health and insights. This is our ability to look into the healthiness of my environment that's going on. Oh, you can actually see here that this is the process that's going on. So created this, it looked at my provisioning policy, it created a SAS URL for me to pull that image from, imported the snapshot. Now it's checking the import process. And that typically takes about 40 minutes in order for me to have a successful one there. So let's go into insights and then health. So the health of this has to do with the Nerdio overall experience. So how is my app service running? So if you don't just create a VM and install this, it's actually something you get from the marketplace. So you have an app service that you pay for, as well as the VM that is or the app service that's running. We also have the ability to do databases, and if you have HA and DR set up, which we fully support, so you can go across multiple geos, multiple regions, have your HA spread out if you want. In my environment, I don't. I did have it up and running. It costs double, so I decided to remove some of that additional costs from a lab perspective. But from a production environment, I would highly recommend doing that. Then I have the ability to look in here and say compute quota. What's going on here? Like, oh, I've got 10 CPUs left inside of my quota. So I'm able to go ahead and look at all of that without having to go into the Azure portal and look at all these different stats. I can look at my app service plan from a CPU perspective, from a memory perspective as well. CPU database, so I can see all those. So that's the insights into just the health of the Nerdio service offering. And this, just for example, if Nerdio goes offline for some reason, or you're doing an update, you can do updates during the day. You don't have to wait until the middle of the night if you don't want to, because we're completely out of band to the user. And if we're not turned on, the only thing we don't do, we can't do auto scaling. We can't run scripts, right? Because those are all done with our backend when it connects into Azure. But as soon as it comes back up, it will resume all of the tasks that were up and running. Sean, I see you came on screen.
Yeah, there was a question that came in that's relevant to the scripted actions you were talking about.
Okay.
The question is, can you apply scripted actions to Windows 365 VMs while it's provisioned to install apps, i.e. AV, SCCM client, etc., before it's handed to a user?
You can, yes. So we can put it into a waiting mode, essentially, or a holding cell, for it to complete the tasks before it is delivered to that end user. So that's a very that's a good call out, or a good question, because a lot of times you get that machine done, built, but it doesn't have all the services up and running yet for that end user's full experience to be completed. So yeah, great call out. So I also have the ability to go in and check out my active users, how long somebody's been on, how many users, their session protocol, are they using TCP, UDP? I can go ahead and I can see the desktop usage, the type, is it pooled or personal? I can go ahead export all of these stats. And then I also have the ability to do the same thing with Windows 365. Because I'm trying to do a migration demo right now, I don't have any Windows 365 devices. Otherwise, it would show me very similar stats to Azure Virtual Desktop. But it would tell me some use case workloads where it would say, hey, because you buy Azure Windows 365 by a SKU, which says I've got 2 vCPUs and 4 gigabytes of memory, or all of that different thing. You don't pick the machine type itself. So that's one thing that's different. I also have the ability to go in and do Intune reporting. I am not an expert on the Intune reporting, unfortunately, yet, but we have this full capability for you to build your own dashboard. You can look at your patch statuses, so it's much simpler and easier for me to go in and check all of this. So I can go ahead and I can click in here. If this said I was out of compliance, it would tell me why I'm not compliant for me to go into that. I can check out my config policies, the managed apps that I have on there, as well as look at all the machines that are up and running for that. And then the costs and efficiency. So this is the ability for me to go in and say, okay, in October, my total AVD cost was this, it was that. all these different sessions, all my different statistics for me to go ahead. We run this report automatically, so that's a per user cost, or I can do it by a per host pool cost, or I can go into Power BI, and I forgot to pull that up. So let me pull that here. So I can also have an executive dashboard that I'm giving to um, people that aren't uh, yeah. So people that aren't part of the EUC team, from a reporting perspective, you can build these in using Power BI. You can go ahead and I can look up my user cost summaries. It'll pull in all that stats. I can do all these sortings. So November should show up here for me as well, for me to go ahead and take a look at all these. And then you can import those into other parts of maybe part of your data lake that you might have going on. Uh, and then operational efficiencies. So this is the ability for me to justify Nerdio from an administrative overhead, not just from here I'm saving money from my user's perspective. I'm able to save by having my admin clicks. So if I were to go into Intune as well as into the AVD management portal to do these tasks, it would have taken me in this day 3 minutes longer, and this day 7 minutes longer, this day 10 minutes longer for me to do the exact same tasks. And in fact, it saved me 370 clicks. That's 370. Oops, I clicked the wrong button. I've got to redo something. Partial things to be mistaken on. So for me, my admin reduction for mistakes was down 58%. So this is the new feature that we've got going out. So one thing that somebody mentioned that I will call out before I get into my final slide. So on Nerdio, if you go to getnerdio.com and go to learn, we have training. And if you go to training camps, you can see we have MSP training camps, we have enterprise training camps, and we have Nerdio partner training camps. So we have partner training camps. If you're a partner, uh, it's a full day. It's very similar to the enterprise one. I've actually been to all three of these myself. Enterprise one, it's hands-on in the lab, following along with an instructor. It is amazing. The partner one, they tell you a little bit more on some of the back end stuffs that you can build your own practice around Microsoft tied in with AVD. And then MSP obviously is just tying into to that. So if you look at the upcoming ones, we don't have any more upcoming. Oh, there we go. MSP training camp today in Berlin. Oh, London is also today, and London was sold out. I went to the London one last year. That was pretty cool. There was like 75 of us in the room. So it's a really cool way to meet some of your peers as well. And it's free. Your hotel is free, your food is free, the camp is free. You just have to get to the location wherever it is that we're having a camp. So I hope that answered the question from the partner guy, the partner question earlier. Let me get into the final couple of things. I got the thumbs up. All right, cool. Okay. So if you want to join Nerdio community, I own Nerdio community on LinkedIn as well as on Reddit. We're very active. We want you to be active. We share content. It's not always about Nerdio. Sometimes it's about one of our partners. Sometimes it's independent people out there that are creating content that we want to share out there that we thought was important for you to do. So I put some QR codes on here. So the top one's Nerdio community. The bottom one is the link to the training camps that I just showcased there. So I recommend, if you have any interest, it doesn't cost you anything other than to join these. It's very good, very powerful. So Q&A. The floor is open for anybody, and again, that's my QR code for my LinkedIn profile. I am on LinkedIn probably 4 hours a day. Not doom scrolling, but actually reading stuff, adding content. I have my own newsletter that I've created and written. That a lot of the content that I produced today, I got from my content that I had created on there. So with that, I will open the floor, Sean.
So right now, I'm not seeing anything in chat or the Q&A panel for new questions. We can give this a minute or two here, see if anything else pops in.
Sure.
There was one comment from Steve about the executive dashboard. He said he loves it. It's great for MSPs to share information with their customers. And that's about it. I'm not seeing anything.
Okay. I see
So
a lot of familiar faces or familiar names on the list of attendees, as well as some competitors. So welcome. It's a small world. You got to be. We're all in this together.
yeah.
So with that, if there's no other questions, I'm open to doing freelance. I call myself a DJ. I'm a demo jockey. So if you want any demos that I didn't show, that were not part of this, I'm totally game for doing anything on that aspect as well. And if not, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm like I said, I'm always there. You can reach out to me directly via email. It's dfisk at getnerdio.com, and I spell my name like this. So, yeah. And I like to wear flannels, which is why I made myself a little muggle pop with that. So,
All right. So after giving it another minute or so, it does not look like there's any other questions, which, I take as a good sign. You know, So, and to start it off, Dave, I mispronounced your last name
you did.
completely wrong, and you didn't
You
even
did.
correct me when you began, really. So I,
No,
I apologize for that.
you're good. You're good. So I live in Minnesota. I have a Norwegian background, but I speak no Norwegian. And in Norwegian, it's fiske, but in English, you don't pronounce the e because of this, and you don't make the I. I don't know. Our language is interesting, so that's how we pronounce it. But when I go to the South, everybody pronounces it correctly. First, and when I'm around here, everybody calls me Fisky. I'm like, anyway, I answer to either.
Yeah. So, okay, I always joke, you can call me anything. I answer to hey you. So
Yeah, just don't call me late for dinner.
exactly. So with that, I'm going to move us into wrap up. So I'm going to share out my screen here. So, everyone, thank you for attending today to hear from Dave and Nerdio about some of the really cool stuff they have, and even some of the stuff that they're announcing in now about 7 minutes. So you kind of got a really cool sneak peek there. Uh, but World of EUC has a lot more coming up. We have a couple of in-person meetings coming up in both North America and in Australia. So if you're in Calgary, Colorado, or Idaho, we have our upcoming meetings. We also have meetings in Adelaide, Brisbane, and Perth if you're down in Australia. So we also have EUC World Amplify coming up. Now, this year we're expanding Amplify. Last year we had an in person event in Minneapolis in August. This year we're going to have two events. We're going to have a virtual event on April 29th, and we are going to have our in person event from September 29th to October 1st in Milwaukee. So please be sure to put those dates on your calendar. We would love to see you at the virtual event, and we would definitely love to see you in person in Milwaukee at the end of September. Now, keep in mind, it will be fall, so not only will you be in Milwaukee to get some great EUC content and some great beer, you'll also be able to go out and see the leaves as they change colors. So three things in one there. This is just save the date for both of those events. We will have more information on the World of EUC website coming up shortly. We also have a lot more on worldofeuc.org. Make sure you stop by our website to check out the webinars that we have, our video library. We have blogs, we have podcasts, and recently announced our benefits program. So be sure to check those out, and we will have more stuff coming soon on our website. And if you're not already a member of our Slack channel, please be sure to join worldofeuc.org/Slack or scan the QR code on your screen. This is a great place to connect with other EUC technologists and enthusiasts, including talking with people like Dave and myself and the rest of our board of directors and other people who have been around the community for a long time. Great place to go if you have questions about Nerdio and anything in general about EUC, including topics like image building that Dave talked about today. And Dave, we'd like to extend a really deep and heartfelt thank you to you for joining us today and to Nerdio for being one of our founding partners. World of EUC would not be possible without founding partners like Nerdio to make all this happen. So thank you for helping us get off the ground and for joining us today to share all the latest and greatest stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, I do have one last thing. If I totally forgot if I could steal the screen back.
Sure, all yours. The floor is yours.
All right, so this is something exciting that I know. It looks like most of you stayed on, so thank you. So NerdioCon is our annual conference. So as soon as you started talking about the World of UC conference, which I got to drive to last year, because it was in my hometown, and I think we're in your hometown next year, or close to it anyway. So NerdioCon is our annual customer conference. It takes place in Palm Springs in the spring, so it's not too hot yet. I was there last year. It is a fantastic, top-notch event. It was 3 days long, 700, actually it's about 800 people that we had last year. Microsoft has a big presence there. A lot of our partners have a presence there. I'm trying to get World of EUC as a community booth in general, because we have a lot of Patrick Cobble. He's one of our MVPs, which is our Nerdio Valley Professionals. He sits on the board of World of EUC. He brought it up to me. I'm like, that's a great idea. Let's get you guys there as well as some of our other community partners. So it's very key, and it's very affordable. If I were to go out and register right now, it is $4.99 for you to go. So it's a great event. It's a great way to learn. Like I said, it's 3 days long. If you're an MSP, we have an extra day that's MSP focused. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of good learning. A lot of smart people there.
And it looks like you're going to be doing a Star Wars theme this year.
We are. It happens over May the 4th. So that's there's going to be a lot of Star Wars kind of stuff thrown in throughout the week that we're learning how to do.
All right. Well, nice. So yeah, if you are looking for something to do in early May, make sure you check out NerdioCon. And with that, I think that is everything. So thank you everyone for joining today. There will be a recording posted, I'm going to say soon-ish, either to the World of EUC website or to our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions, please reach out on the World of EUC Slack. So thank you everyone again for joining, and have a great day.
Thank you.